Most YouTube travel videos talk about things to do, places to visit. They always focus on things, places for the Instagram, right? And none of them, not a single video out there talks about the culture. And I'm not talking about traditional culture, I'm talking about modern day culture, what the vibe of the people are like and how they treat you. Because it's a very controversial thing to do and it doesn't really get much views, but hey, I'm different. I actually like making videos about my experiences and talking about it. In this video, I want to summarize my impressions as a Korean American traveling across the four stands: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and specifically the capital cities, the people of the capital cities of Almaty, Tashkent, Bishkek, and Dushanbe. I just want to give my impressions of how I felt, the vibe, patterns I've noticed. And I'm going to make a lot of generalizations because yeah, it's human nature. And these are just my opinions. I have to say all this because I just know the Kazakhs, specifically you got me some Kazakhs that watch this video and they're going to get so mad. They are the most defensive of the bunch. They are looking to start a fight every single day, every single hour. And I just know in the comment section, all the negative comments are going to be Kazakhs, as in, hey, tell me you're a Kazakh without telling me you're a Kazakh. As for my purpose and intent of making this video and the target demographic, I'm okay. There's a lot of children hagglers here. They're selling stuff. It's fascinating. There's like literally, I can't see it, but there's like 6 kids just walking around the restaurant. I just like sharing my thoughts. A lot of my friends, I'm the only one within my group of friends that friends like to travel, but I'm the only one that travels for culture. So you'll never see them traveling around countries like this. And I started off like sharing my thoughts in the group chat, and it's just easier just having a central location to update my friends across the world and in the States on what I'm doing. Please don't take anything as very formal scientific method observational analysis. No, this is just casual vibes. Okay. Second thing, the target demographic, casual travelers that are curious about visiting the sands and or open-minded locals that are curious about outsiders' superficial perspective on how the people of these capital cities differ. With that said, I'd like to specifically mention this. If you are a Kazakh man, please do not watch this video. You are going to get, it's just something, it's in your blood to just get angry, and you will get angry and leave a very bad comment. And even me telling you this, you will get very, very angry. And I mean no disrespect, but that's just the way you guys are. If you're a younger Kazakh, yeah, I think you guys are more open-minded. And the women are a bit more open-minded as well. But this is specifically Kazakh men. You're not gonna like this video. You just aren't gonna like this video, and you're gonna take it in the wrongest, most disrespectful way possible when that's not my intent. With that out of the way, let's start with the first country I visited, Almaty, Kazakhstan. I had high hopes flying into Almaty. And normally, the way I travel, if I don't like the vibe, I'll move on after 1 or 2 nights. But Almaty, despite it being hostile vibes, every day I would wake up thinking, okay, today's a fresh day. Maybe yesterday was just like by chance a bad day. But today is gonna be different, fresh start, let's have a fresh mind. And by the end of the day, all hope was lost. It's just identical experience every single day with the locals. And I spent 7 days there, which is a long period of time. For me, a long period of time if I don't like the vibe. And the things that made me very uncomfortable. The older generation of Kazakhs are not friendly to people that look like me. And from the comments, it's either because I look Chinese or I'm a local. Those are the 2 excuses. There's some xenophobia due to the whole Uyghur thing happening in China. Or, for some reason, so many comments saying, hey, you just look like a local. So of course they're going to be unfriendly to you. That's the Kazakh excuse, that since I look like a local, they're going to be unfriendly. Let me define what friendliness is. Friendliness isn't being nice, isn't being cordial, isn't when you bump into someone saying sorry. No, that's not friendliness. Friendliness is, does this person make an effort to becoming your friend? Will we hang out later? Do we exchange contacts? Are they interested in meeting up later and continue on a friendly relationship? That's what friendliness is. And Kazakhs, more than any of the other stands, just zero friendly energy. Yes, you guys are nice. You guys are nice, you guys are cordial, you guys are civilized, but in 7 days there, I wasn't able to make a single friend. I would have a conversation and I would ask, hey, can we follow up? Do you have Instagram? Do you have WhatsApp? Do you have Telegram, etc.? And they would just softly create distance, either by ignoring the question or changing the topic. And that's the nature of Kazakhs living in Almaty. I'm not saying this is all Kazakhs because I've heard great things about people in Astana or the smaller towns. But there's something about Almaty Kazakhs. They are not interested in befriending and making an effort towards people that look like me. And I say that because I'm Korean American, but I kept on getting confused as Chinese. I include a video clip here where you clearly see it on the lady's face where she's like, China? And as soon as I say Korean, she's like, oh, her face just completely changes.
From China.
No, I'm American, but I'm Korean. Korean.
Welcome to Korea.
Yeah.
Welcome to museum.
Her face just completely changes, right? So I'm not imagining this. As for the actual behavior, it's the only country where I got death stares, where people are giving me this evil eye, like intent to kill. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I would sit down in restaurants like this, and wealthy-looking ladies, these are like maybe ladies in their 30s or 40s, wearing all black, surrounded by company. They will look at me like, for like 30 seconds. For like 30 seconds, they will give me this look of disgust. And they're not looking past me. It's like there's nothing to look behind me. They're just giving me this death stare, this cold death stare of disgust for like 30 seconds. And my response, well, as American, I'm just, because that's the way I react when I see eye contact like that, because Americans were, I don't know. And I got that multiple times. It wasn't just one incident, it was 3 times in a period of 7 days. And then, yeah, that was just really odd. And then the men were, my impression of Kazakh men, oh man, it's like there's like this extreme spectrum of masculinity. It's either you're hyper aggressive, looking to start fights, like very tough, or you are the opposite. You're someone who's been bullied all your life, so your body language is like, I saw no in between. So my impression of Kazakh men, I'm not saying everyone is like this, but there's enough people that just start fights, hyper aggressive, hyper toxic masculinity to the point where they just kind of subdue the weaker men, men that look like me, right? And I had some comments saying, well, that's just all cultures. No, in America, you're not beaten. You're respected more for your intelligence and your background, things like that, and how you act. It doesn't really matter if you're strong, right? Yeah, I mean, it helps in the dating market, but no, it's your average guy. He's not going to care if you're just like small like me, right? He's not going to care, right? He's going to treat you with respect. He's going to recognize, oh shoot, this guy's really intelligent. I have something to learn from him. I want him to be my friend. Kazakhs, it just feels like you guys were stuck in an era where might is right, and anyone weaker, let's just beat them. Let's start some random fight, let's beat them. And again, not just my imagination, I have this recorded on my meta glasses. 2 delivery drivers got confrontational with me, as in I thought they were going to punch me, but luckily I'm from Los Angeles, so I know how to diffuse, de-escalate. Right? These are much bigger guys looking to punch me, right? And it was over like me taking 10 extra minutes to find them because the Yandex.Go app didn't have the right location, but they were just furious. Other signs that Kazakhs are not a friendly country, just look at the comment section. Any angry comments, it's going to be from a Kazakh. The funny thing is, Kazakhs will be the first to tell Kyrgyzstans have a chip on their shoulder, as in they will claim that all the other stands are very defensive and will fight. No, that's not the case at all. That's just something called projecting, where that's how you think, therefore that's how you think therefore you imagine these behaviors to be defensive behaviors. Because I can tell you, because I can say decisively, without a shadow of a doubt, Kyrgyzstans are the most wholesome, friendly, non-confrontational people I've met amongst the sands. But that does not mean Kyrgyz men are weak cowards. No. Kyrgyz men are actually very strong. They are freaking warriors, but they have the mentality of warriors should be nice, right? And then when they're disrespected, step over the line, they're gonna knock you out, right? It's just like Korean culture. Kyrgyzstans and Koreans, you guys are just, yeah. So overall, if you're visiting Almaty, don't expect friendliness. The city itself is worth visiting because it's a beautiful city. It has a lot of history, the old Soviet stuff. Oh yeah, another thing. You cannot mention it having Soviet roots at all. That's something else that they get very defensive. Despite them speaking Russian, right? If you land in Almaty and on Google Translate, you have Kazakh loaded like I did, and you try using Google Translate with Kazakh, they won't understand it. It took me a couple hours before I realized, oh, they speak Russian here. Because 90% of the country speaks Russian. They don't speak Kazakh. Despite that, they will get knee-jerk reaction, punch you in the freaking face if you say, this reminds me of Russia. This reminds me of Soviets. This reminds me of USSR. So you just cannot say that. But despite the buildings having Soviet architecture, the architecture in Almaty, it's magnificent, big, austere Soviet architecture. Despite that dominating the cityscape of Almaty, you cannot say, this reminds me of Soviet architecture. You just can't say that. The comments will say, we have nothing to do with Russians. It's irrelevant. How dare you, you arrogant American. You know nothing. Other excuses Kazakhs make? Well, it's because Almaty is a much bigger city with higher population density than Bishkek. Therefore, of course people are going to be unfriendly. Well, how do you explain Tashkent? How do you explain Tashkent? Why are the people there so friendly? And they'll counter again with, well, it's because you're a local. Well, it's because you look like a local. We're unfriendly to the locals here. But that's begging the question. Why are you guys so unfriendly to each other? That still does not dismiss that you guys are very unfriendly. One more thing. There's some commenters that will say, maybe you had such a bad experience because we get back the energy that we give out. So maybe you're the problem. Well, here's the thing. I don't change across these stands. Like, I truly don't. I'm very consistent on how I act when I travel. I'm a very polite Korean that likes making food videos and recording myself in restaurants like this. But even before I bring out the camera, just walking around, I sit down and just politely reading the menu, I get death stares. So I guarantee you it wasn't because, I guarantee you, I am very confident it wasn't due to the way I was carrying myself. Because that factor, that variable has not changed as I travel across these countries. It truly hasn't. Anyway, this is becoming like a long Kazakhstan rant, so let's move on to the next country. Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. You guys are just awesome. You guys are just, man, it's everything I like about the people here. They actually remind me about all the positives about Korean culture, but friendlier.